Hello, welcome to Getting Started With, where our job is to make your job easier. On this episode, we are getting started with IT audit. In this video, we will help you identify the stakeholders you'll be working with as an IT auditor, discuss the differences between IT general controls and IT application controls, and identify some of the common IT control frameworks and related terms. So, let's get started. IT audit can be a daunting topic for auditors not familiar with technology systems beyond their own experience swiping right and making spreadsheets. All businesses rely on hardware and software, so this is one area where internal auditors can definitely add value, even if they think Java is just another word for their morning coffee. If you're just getting into IT auditing, you'll need to know the primary stakeholders you'll be working with. The responsibilities of these individuals will vary depending on the sector and the size of your company, but some of the more common stakeholders are the Chief Information Officer, Chief Technology Officer, Chief Information Security Officer, Chief Data Officer, and Chief Privacy Officer. Some roles deal with software and tools, while others deal with hardware and physical structures where it is located. Here's a pro tip. Find out which roles exist in your organization and learn what their responsibilities are. IT controls are separated into two main categories: IT general controls and IT application controls, frequently referred to by their acronyms of ITGCs and ITACs. IT general controls are controls that apply to all systems. One quick example is a password policy where all passwords must be a certain length and use certain types of characters. IT application controls are controls which are specific to an IT system or tool. These controls would only be relevant to a specific application, such as an accounting system, PDF editor, or a database you use for creating reports. An example of an IT general control would be user access review controls, also known as identity management. An organization may mandate that all systems and software tools must receive a user access review at a periodic interval. Common issues noted for access reviews are employees who leave the company but still have access to the system, or employees who may have system permissions that are not aligned with their job description. Other examples would be disaster recovery and system or data backups. IT security policies should set out how often data is backed up to in-house servers or the cloud. Also, not all IT controls deal with the ones and zeros of software. All of your IT software has to be run on hardware somewhere, and your company may have servers set up in multiple geographic locations or not own any at all. ITGCs cover physical security controls, which can range from intrusion detection systems to building access cards. After all, you don't want just anyone walking into your data center. IT application controls are more specific, as they are limited to the system being used. Application controls ensure the functions a user can perform align with their permission within an application. An example of an application control is not allowing journal entries to be posted in financial reporting software for a previously closed period, such as the prior quarter or prior fiscal year. An application control can be as simple as a check-digit validating function to ensure that you are inputting a correct date and not putting that asset to use in the year 2363. Here's a time saver: automation. These controls are frequently programmed so they happen automatically, not manually. And we'd be remiss not to mention the CIA. Not that CIA, we mean the CIA triad. It's a simple mnemonic to remind us that the purpose of application and general controls is to keep information confidential, accurate, and available. You'll likely hear these terms when dealing with information security. This is the Chief Information Security Officer's area of expertise. When dealing with information security controls, you'll want to keep in mind that their main purpose is to protect your organization's data, confidentiality, ensure its trustworthiness, integrity, and ensure that those who need it to make decisions have access when they need it, availability. While you'll discover plenty of acronyms and buzzwords, there are some key terms to learn, as they will tell you a lot about how you should approach IT audit and what risks your organization faces. On-prem, short for on-premises, and off-prem, short for, you guessed it, off-premises. Off-premises usually refers to assets and devices that are not physically housed within the organization and is synonymous with the cloud. Cloud service providers host your company's data and applications on their own hardware, and your company pays a periodic fee to keep it there. On-premise assets will generally refer to mainframes and servers your company physically has on site somewhere. Whether you have your information in the cloud or on servers on the third floor of your office, here's a pro tip. Knowing how your company stores data will help you understand what risks your IT assets are facing. Some of the risks differ for on-prem versus cloud storage. Another important distinction you'll want to understand is the difference between a production environment and a development environment. The production environment is what is actually being used by you and your coworkers. A mistake here can lead to critical issues in how your business operates or the information it uses to conduct business. This is where the final version of software is implemented. A development environment is where a new software tool, feature, or update can be tested within a separate workspace outside of your production environment to ensure it operates as intended without risking errors in your master data records. You'll hear these terms in discussions about change management controls. It's important to have separate development and production environments and to restrict the number of users to these environments based on their role and responsibilities. For example, an IT programmer who writes code changes to software and tests those changes in the development environment should not have the ability to promote the changes they have made into the production environment. There are many IT control frameworks out there, such as NIST, COBIT, HITRUST, and ISO 27001. IT control frameworks provide guidelines that organizations can follow to demonstrate reasonable assurance that their data is confidential, accurate, and reliable. Organizational policies may be written to comply with one or more of these frameworks. Find out what frameworks your organization prioritizes and get certified in them. Being certified in one or more frameworks helps you better understand how IT controls are developed and used within your organization. What's more, staff certifications in such frameworks help businesses demonstrate they can keep data, such as customer information, safe. Frameworks aren't one size fits all, and whether your organization follows them may depend on considerations such as your organization's size, how mature your processes are, and your specific IT strategy. Ultimately, an IT audit objective, like other audit objectives, is to verify that related IT controls, processes, management, and governance are in place and operating effectively, providing reasonable assurance that IT-related risks are being mitigated. IT audits can have objectives such as ensuring assets have been properly updated with the latest security patches, patch management, or that vulnerabilities are properly identified and remediated, and that privacy is being maintained. One thing is for certain, technology is always evolving, and while we may not have to worry about machines taking over the world anytime soon, it is good to keep in mind that yesterday's solution can be today's vulnerability. IT audit objectives can also include compliance with IT-specific laws. These laws typically mandate governance practices for alerting people when their personal information is being collected and for keeping that information safe. Ever wonder why you're prompted to accept cookie tracking on almost every website you visit? You can thank the European Union's e-privacy directive for that, and probably some auditors as well for keeping their organizations in compliance. Congratulations on completing Getting Started with IT Audit. Thank you for watching, and there's so much more to learn. On the next screen, you'll see links to suggested videos to view next.